It's North Carolina taking on Florida State. A couple of ACC foes as the Seminoles get ready to take the field and defend their 22-game home winning streak, the longest winning streak in the nation. Hello, everybody. I'm Mark Jones alongside Rod Gilmore, Quint Kesnick down in the field joining us in just a bit. Florida State at 3-1 overall, Rod, coming off an impressive win last week against South Florida, and Dalvin Cook doing a lot of the heavy lifting offensively.
Well, he's arguably the best running back in college football, and they've sort of made the decision that to get back into the national championship race, he's the focal point. And last week he went off for 267 yards and a couple of touchdowns. This is a guy who ran for 1,700 last year, and he is a good place to start if you want to settle down your offense.
Very healthy average last week, almost 10 yards per pop, and going against a very porous and pliable rush defense today in North Carolina. Carolina coming into this game off a very impressive comeback victory against Pitt last week. Larry Fedora's team being clutch in the dying moments of that game. And their quarterback right there, Mitch Trubisky, has been red hot in the last several weeks. Florida State will receive to begin this game. North Carolina winning the toss, deferring to the second half.
You talk about a red-hot quarterback, a great running back. We could see a lot of points today.
And we are underway. This will come back down to the 25-yard line, first down and 10 for DeAndre Francois, the redshirt freshman quarterback out of Orlando, 6'2", 205 pounds. Last week, got off to a real good start, was 6 for 6 and 104 yards passing in the first quarter. And don't sleep on Dalvin Cook, folks. He took the first touch of the game last week all the way to the house for the score. First and 10 from the 25 for the Seminoles. Little reverse to Kermit Whitfield. He's got that world-class speed, and he's brought down right around midfield by Des Lawrence. First and 10 for the Seminoles on the 21-yard gain run.
Well, Jonesy, the North Carolina defense has struggled to contain the football, to keep it inside. Not a surprise that the first thing Florida State does is attack the perimeter with the reverse. They're going to attack the edge as often as possible today.
From the 46. Here's Cook on his first carry. Runs it into the boundary, and a nice gain pushed out right around the 45 by Lawrence once again.
Well, when you don't set the edge, and that's been an issue for North Carolina, you see the good blocks on the edge. Cook is now out free on the outside. A really good block out there to free him, but that has been the Tar Heels' issue on defense, in run defense, keeping the ball inside.
And the Seminoles looking at a very auspicious second and short. Lining up out of the eye this time. Rudolph in motion, then sets. It's Cook again. Creases it right up the middle. And a nice gain right on the edge of field goal range for Ricky Aguayo. Well, he got off to a slow start. Had just 228 yards in the first 3 weeks. And then busting loose last week against South Florida. That time he got 9. First and 10 from the 36. Freddie Stevenson leading the way, the fullback on the reverse. It's Whitfield again with his second touch. Whitfield brought down at the 28-yard line.
Well, if you're a Tar Heel fan, at least they turned the ball back in that side. That's a second reverse we've seen. At least that didn't get to the edge, but still a good gain for Florida State. And Florida State just picking at the edge, the perimeter, making it clear that they're going to go after that until North Carolina finds an answer.
About 12 personnel this time. Actually, 2 backs, 2 tight ends. Cook this time stopped up right around the line of scrimmage. That's a win finally for that Tar Heel defense. Aaron Crawford leading the way on the tackle, sets up a third down on the loss of 1. And Nas Jones, one of the leaders up front, number 90, 6'5", 300-pounder. He's played large for them this year. 3rd and 3. They got a bunch of tall receivers that can make plays for the Seminoles.
Yeah, given the way they've been running it, though, probably not going to put it in the air.
Francois out of shotgun. Takes off himself, but he's tackled short by about 1.5 yards by Aaron Crawford again. Picked up 2 in a very interesting 4th and short coming out. And out comes Ricky Aguayo, leading the field goal unit.
Turns out to be a pretty good stop for North Carolina after Florida State kind of shoved it down their throat. With 5 straight runs, they get a nice little stop, and now a field goal attempt. Good bounce back.
45-yard attempt by Aguayo. And he pulls it left. Just his 2nd miss of the season. Now 11 of 13. All right, thanks a lot, Bob. Here in Tallahassee, Florida, Doak Campbell Stadium, Florida State and North Carolina tied at 0 a moment ago. Ricky Aguayo from 45 yards out, missing by that much. And North Carolina head coach Larry Fedora signaling a win for his defense after giving up several good gains on the first several carries of this ball game. And right now, Mitch Trubisky in at 1st and 10 for Carolina's offense. Switzer in motion, but they run it between the tackles to Elijah Hood. Brought down by DeMarcus Christmas. As we look at the storylines for the game, is Florida State back. Dalvin Cook coming off a big week last week in that win against South Florida. 267 yards. This is Hood with a spin, about 1 yard shy of the first down. And we got a couple of quarterbacks that can really air it out, especially Trubisky, who's completing almost 75%, actually 70% of his passes on the season. 3rd and 1. The Tar Heels opening drive of the ball game. It's going to be Hood, and he picks up the first down and keeps those legs churning. Got about 6. And the Seminole defense has given up a lot of points this year, more than they traditionally do, especially on opening drives, Rob.
Yeah, you can see they've struggled, and what you don't see there is that a lot of that has been big plays, and this offense can throw it and deliver big plays.
Little receiver screen to Switzer. That's a big part, pardon me, that was Austin Prohl. That's a big part of their offense, isn't it, Rob?
It is, but I think this offense really is focused around number 3, Switzer. I mean, the screen game to him and getting him down the field, that opens up everything. I think you'll see pretty quickly Trubisky will start to look his way.
Switzer on the fake jet screen. They give it to Hood. Gashes that defensive front for the Seminoles. And a nice gain for the first down at the 42-yard line. Good block up front from Tucker and a 12-yard gain. There's a look at Trubisky's numbers. That last pass that he completed was his 203rd straight pass without an interception. 1st and 10, Logan in the backfield now. And he gets the call. He's the guy with more speed, and he gets to the edge for another nice gain for Carolina. Trey Marshall finally pushing him out of bounds, Rob.
You know, Jonesy, Trubisky is a guy who you have to be impressed with. I mean, he waited his turn to get his shot at North Carolina in an era when you see a lot of guys transfer after their freshman year. He's waited his turn, and he started really hot. 10 touchdown passes, no picks on the season.
A guy that has really won the respect of that huddle. 2nd and 5 for North Carolina. He pulls it out. The pass complete at the 27-yard line to Bug Howard, who caught the game-winning touchdown last week in that comeback win against Pitt.
And Trubisky will go with an up-tempo pace, particularly after a first down. This Florida State defense has struggled with pace this season. They've made a lot of mistakes when offenses go fast.
Now Seminoles defense on its heels right now collectively. Another completion at the 19-yard line Once again, it's Prohl, pushed out of bounds by Tavares McFadden. But another good gain.
And Trubisky gets the ball out really fast. He's a very accurate quarterback, reads very well, knows where to go with the football. Very difficult to sack him.
2nd and 2. A whistle and a flag down. That offensive line for North Carolina.
False start. Offense, number 70. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Caleb Peterson, a little nicked up, but he's still in there, Quint.
Yeah, Mark, Caleb Peterson was injured, and he was a real question mark whether he would play or not today. Did not practice all week long. That combined with the noise, you see a little false start.
Well, Q, it'll be interesting to see how he holds up in passing situations because Florida State will bring pressure, particularly on his side.
2nd and 6 after the penalty. Trubisky going to take off and down, finds his back, Logan. Logan reaching for the pylon, touchdown. Got there with that last gasp effort lunge. And North Carolina striking first. What a great effort by Logan.
Yeah, first question, was he beyond the line of scrimmage? No, you see the line there, the black line? Looks like he was in good shape behind it when he let it go. And Trubisky did a tremendous job of keeping his wits about himself and looking for his outlet, Logan. And how about Logan finishing it at the goal line there?
Great combination of the backfield between Hood and Logan. Little thunder and lightning combination. Logan being the quicker of the two. That was his 2nd touchdown catch of the season.
You know, Jonesy, the big story of the last couple of weeks has been the Florida State defense, and a lot of talk about the big plays, the opening drives, and look at this, North Carolina opening up here. Let's go back and take a look at that line of scrimmage. Is he over? He is clearly behind that black line.
Yeah, he let it go well behind.
Yeah. And remember, it's got to be your entire body that's across that line.
And now we're taking a look to see if he
breaks
got
that
in.
plane. Yeah, he breaks that plane.
And his knee didn't appear to be down either.
No, he's in. Ball breaks plane. That's a good play.
Review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
So the Seminole defense, Rod, continues to struggle early in ball games, giving up another opening drive touchdown here against North Carolina.
Well, once is a mistake, twice is a pattern, 3 times is a problem, right?
Sure looks like
that was the 4th time.
Yeah. Charles Kelly, the defensive coordinator for the Seminoles, trying to tweak things for the last couple of weeks. And Logan with the touchdown catch and dash to the end zone. Carolina, after dropping in its opening game, pretty happy right now. Cheesing for the cameras. We'll be back after this. And welcome to ESPN College Football presented by Exxon and Mobile. And the Florida State Seminole defense giving up another touchdown early in the ball game on an opening drive.
Yeah, another rough start. And the difference for this one, it wasn't one big play. It was the balance of North Carolina. 5 runs, 4 passes.
See if they can get anything on this kick return. It'll go out and come out to the 25. And Jimbo Fisher was irascible after the win against South Florida last week.
We let up. They should never have stopped us one drive. Your focus and your dedication. If you don't want to pay that price, don't play at Florida State. You got a hell of a damn football team, but you won't let yourself do it. I'm proud of you. I love you. But I'm being honest with you. You stop you. Nobody else does. A lot of people can't say that. You stop you.
That was our AT&T inside access. An impassioned Jimbo Fisher. And Cook coming back the other way for the Seminoles, picks up the first down. That great video part of Showtime special on the Seminoles, runs weekly. A season with the Seminoles and a fantastic inside look and inside access on their season. A 14-yard gain that time by Cook.
Same as the opening drive, attacking the North Carolina perimeter. Dalvin Cook, Florida State believes they can run it, and they can run it at will outside.
1st and 10 from the 38. Francois back to pass, has time. Caught down the middle of the field at the 37 by Maven Saunders.
Beautiful throw. Francois clearly looking down the field for his big tight end, Gavin. Finds him in the seam. Perfectly thrown ball. We've seen fewer and fewer throws by Francois as they've run it more, but he's got a pretty touch.
27-yard gain on the play. Right now on the fringes of field goal range for Ricky Aguayo. He could hit him out to 52, even 53 yards. 1st and 10. Cook again. Down to the 28. Let's go back to Adnan in the studio. All right, buddy, back here 2nd and 4 after that 6-yard gain. Redshirt freshman DeAndre Francois out of Orlando, Florida. Off to a great start this year with that comeback win against Ole Miss. Brought the Seminoles back from a 22-point deficit.
False start. Offense. Number 69. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
You know, Jonesy, early on, it was really about Francois. You see the opening game, 52 passes. And even in that Louisville game, they opened up throwing the ball. But they've moved more and more away from throwing it a lot and more to giving it to Cook and relying on that offensive line. I think this is the formula you will see most of the way, the rest of the way for Florida State. Cook mixing in some runs with Francois and not having him throw it more than 20 or 25 times.
2nd and 9. He's going to pass here. Fires high, incomplete. Ron, let me go back to that point you just made. Is that formula good enough to get them to where they want to get in the ACC and beyond?
You're talking about Dalvin Cook.
Right.
You know, one of the best running backs in college football who can get it for you, either running it or catching it. So, yeah, it's good enough, particularly with this offensive line starting to come around. And don't underestimate Francois. He will grow as the season grows as well. But there's no reason to put too much pressure on him early in the season.
He's looking at 3rd and 9 here. Looks like he's audibling to another play. A blitz coming. They give him time, but he fires incomplete, intended for Travis Rudolph. So that Carolina defense, which has been pliable for most of the year, Rod, comes up with another win.
Well, but they had it. You know, he just missed that one. They picked up the blitz. He had plenty of time. He was just off on that throw. He had Rudolph out there, but he was high and outside.
They're going to bring in Ricky Aguayo for a 2nd field goal attempt.
How about this North Carolina defense that has been pushed around most of the year, coming up with 2 consecutive 3rd down stops in their territory?
And now a potential career long of 52 yards from Ricky Aguayo. And it's partially blocked. Somebody got a hand on it. And the Tar Heels recover it. And they've got some big ambitions here. Andre Smith out near midfield. And now Aguayo is 0 for 2.
Jonesy, if you're talking about a recipe for an upset of a ranked team, you're North Carolina. Your defense has come out and played a little bit over its head. Your offense already has a touchdown. You just get a big special teams play. You have the ability to score points after this. We could see one brewing right here in Tallahassee.
ESPN College Football is presented by Exxon and Mobil. Refuel with new Synergy gasoline from Exxon and Mobil. Energy lives here. And in part by Ford. We go further so you can.
Always a great weekend when it's Parents Weekend here in Tallahassee. Kiss Mom and Dad and pick up the check, Rob.
Yeah. Get a little bit more money in the bank account. Hey, here's your time to take a shot, Jonesy.
Off the turnover, off the block field goal. They run the jet sweep to Switzer. And Switzer picks up about 6 yards. You know, last week Switzer and his teammates came out for warm-up wearing robes because the feeling was they've been slept on. That's right. Well, Switzer put up some great numbers, had 208 yards receiving last week, so I'm guessing nobody's sleeping on them anymore. On the carry, it's Francis who gets close to the first down. For more on the receivers, Quint, were they really slept on?
Well, the alarm clock is ringing now. Let me tell you, it's a hot day for a bathrobe.
You look great.
I didn't see any bathrobes today on the sideline. They wore them pregame before Pitt last week, and they delivered a monster performance. 5 touchdowns. Switzer had 16 catches. Bug Howard scored with 2 seconds to go for the game winner, and I think they announced to the ACC and the nation they're quite a quartet of receivers.
Hey, Quint, I was expecting the monogrammed robe with the slippers to match.
That's a strong look.
Yes. First and 10, they give it to Hood. Elijah Hood puts them in field goal range. A few yards shy of the first down. Tucker with a good block that time. Here's a look at their numbers from last week.
Well, you see Switzer, 208, couple of catches for Bug Howard, the game winner, and Hollins is really the speed guy out there. You know, they can affect you so many ways. They script their first 12 to 14 plays, and they want their receivers to touch the ball. Feels like they got to get them involved now.
2nd and 3. Hood pushed out of bounds. Not sure that he got there. Under 4 minutes to go here in the first quarter. 2-yard gain.
Think of the pressure North Carolina can put on Florida State if they score here. Their defense has been reeling at Florida State. This is an explosive offense. Florida State trying to run the ball, take a little pressure off of Francois. Crowd's going to get antsy.
Matt Collins is in the ball game. He was nicked up last week. Not thought to be at 100%. They give it to Hood up the middle, and he reaches. He is very close to the first down. Dontavius Jackson making the tackle for the Seminoles, and looks like they might have to measure for this. Nose of the ball resting at the 31-yard line.
Looks like that second effort got that ball over. Couldn't tell if his knee was already down. But
spotting the football, Rod, we've seen through the years is still, I think, a very inexact science.
You're ready for the computer to take over, huh?
Hey, get a laser out there or something. They're that short.
Decision time for Fedora. Look, you know my view on this. Whenever you get a turnover, you want points off a turnover. And a block kick is a turnover. So I would take 3 points here just to keep driving home the message. I think Larry Fedora is going to roll the dice. You see what they've done on 4th downs.
Pretty good numbers so far, 4 of 5.
But I like the concept of making the defense pay for a turnover, adding points automatically. So I'd kick it here. I would not do this. You're not feeling me on that, though, are you?
Hey, you're on the road, a little bit of house money at stake here.
I hear you.
I will say, though, Rod, as they look to the sidelines and call timeout.
North Carolina.
In most of the games we've done this year, it's actually tilted in your favor in terms of the reasoning.
4-quarter game. Chance to get up a lot here. Already 7-0. Tar Heels.
You're watching the ACC on ESPN. Back to the action, 4th and short for North Carolina from Florida State's 31-yard line. Larry Fedora going to gamble here. Trying to get some points out of that turnover. That blocked field goal a moment ago.
They've got a screen outside if they want to throw it.
They give it to Hood, and it's going to be short. Looks like he got stopped up initially by Dontavius Jackson, and the Seminoles defense steps up and makes a play.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting for you.
Rod, you were right.
No, it's when you get it, when you steal a possession, and they stole one with a block kick, you have a chance to get free points. Take the free points, even if it's only 3. Now you give momentum back. You get a stop from the defense.
This is their first warning.
So rather than take the 3 points and get something out of the blocked field goal, well, this is closer than we thought. Coming up short by inches. And I mean inches, folks. And I'm staring at that for a long time.
You know, Jonesy, you could make the argument that Fedora on 3rd down should have challenged this. Now watch Hood. Hood may not actually be down. He's on top of a Florida State player. Legs not down, and look where that ball is. So had North Carolina challenged that on 3rd down, they might have picked up that 1st down. But they didn't see it. They didn't challenge it. They go for it on 4th down. They don't get it. Florida State ball.
Under 3 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Florida State already with a couple of missed field goals in the ball game. Francois sacked back at the 25-yard line by Bart as we go back to the studio. Okay, Adnan, that was the 3rd sack of the season, by the way, by Mikey Bart. Francois to throw again. Finds his target near the 1st down to the 40-yard line. That's Bobo Wilson.
You see how Francois is so comfortable throwing that ball over the middle, dropping it behind the linebackers in front of the safeties. Really nice touch on that throw.
One of the early defining moments in his career was that opening season comeback win. They were down 22 points.
He showed his toughness. He took some shots in that game.
Moved the chains on the 1st down. From the 40. Little bootleg action. Francois wide open to his tight end, Saunders. And Saunders brought down near the 26-yard line. Well executed by the Seminoles.
It's just a drag. There he is right here. He's going to come all the way across to match Francois as he rolls out. And it's a really well-run route by Gavin. And he is the primary receiver. Well done by DeAndre Francois looking for him.
Saunders out of the Bahamas and Bimini. 1st down and 10. Cook the lone back after the 33-yard gain. Cook with nowhere to go up the middle. Stopped right near the line of scrimmage by Collins.
Yeah, run blitz on 1st down. Gene Chizik, defensive coordinator for North Carolina, trying to dial up some 1st down pressures to create negative plays.
Yeah, that was one of his goals coming into the ball game, Rod. We talked about the fact that they gave up too many catastrophic plays defensively this year. In excess of 700 yards of explosive plays. They win 1st down, setting up 2nd and 12. Behind his receiver and incomplete for Wilson. Sets up 3rd down and 12. Good heat up front by Nas Jones.
I'm surprised at how much pressure the Tar Heels are able to get on Francois. There's Gene Chizik up there, and he was determined to create some negative plays. These first 2 downs, a little bit more pressure, being aggressive, creating this 3rd down. Now, will he come again on 3rd down?
It's a pass once again. Francois through the hands of his receiver at the 2-yard line. Rudolph should have made that catch. Now it's 4th down, and they've already had a couple of missed field goals. One was blocked.
Well, they're going to try another one here. But you're right, that's a catch Rudolph normally makes. But special teams, they normally make field goals. But the first one, hooked, not in. And then the second one, blocked and returned by Andre Smith to midfield. But the Florida State defense prevented any scoring.
Ricky Aguayo, the number 3 ranked place kicker in the nation in high school last year, misses a third one today. Certainly, at least for now, not following in the family lineage of fine place kicking. His brother Roberto will be making a call to him soon. And welcome back, everyone. 7-0 North Carolina with the lead. 3 missed field goals by the Seminoles, part of the early storyline in this ball game, as well as the staunch nature of the North Carolina defense. That's Logan with a gain of 2. Meanwhile, defensively, Rod, on third downs, this North Carolina defense is winning.
Yeah, you heard Jimbo Fisher talk about you stop, you don't. They can't stop you. It's wrong. Tar Heels have been stopping Florida State on third down.
Once again, it's Logan. Still on his feet, into Seminole territory at the 40-yard line. Got a nice block up front by Lucas Crowley. As we wind down on the end of the first quarter, a 30-yard gain.
That's the end of the first
by
quarter.
T.J. Logan. Matthew Thomas injured on the field for the Seminoles. Very interesting, compelling first quarter here in Tallahassee. Back with the second after this. Well, folks, kick off your week 4 Sunday in the NFL with us on ESPN. Insiders at 10 a.m. At 11, it's Sunday NFL Countdown. Both shows streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. Back to the action, North Carolina with the football. First play of the second quarter from Florida State's 40-yard line. Leading 7-0. Trubisky taking a shot and incomplete in the end zone. Intended for Austin Prohl.
That's his first incomplete pass. He's 5 of 6, but we really haven't seen them open up the offense yet for North Carolina. But Trubisky hangs in there as he takes a big shot off his back foot. Lucky this wasn't picked off. But you're still waiting for them to try and get the ball to Switzer and to get Hollins going.
A real potent receiving core. Switzer in particular coming off a big week, 208 yards receiving last week. Here he is on the little bubble screen, pushed out of bounds in field goal range by Marcus Lewis. 7-yard gain on the play. Third down coming up. 3 yards to go. Trubisky finds Switzer again for the first down as we go back to Adnan in the studio. Okay, Adnan on the toss sweep. Logan getting to the edge, squares those shoulders to get the first down. And T.J. Logan moving the chains again for North Carolina. They are going at a hellacious pace.
Yeah, and that pace and the motion and the like. You see Florida State not even lined up yet.
Logan again, lacerating that front. Touchdown, Carolina. A 13-yard scamper for the score.
Jonesy, that little misdirection got the linebackers to take false steps. You see number 6, Thomas, in the middle of your screen take the step the wrong way. You get linemen out in front, and Logan strolls into the end zone.
North Carolina bringing about a smattering of boos here at Doak Campbell Stadium. North Carolina an extra point away from going up 14-0. A deafening silence here at Doak Campbell Stadium as Logan goes in for the score. He's caught a touchdown and now rushed for one. TJ Logan with the touchdown a moment ago. 5 rushes today, 65 yards. What was the key, Rod?
Hey, just watch the motion. You're going to get Thomas moved out, and you're going to get Hoskins moved out because they go with the motion that North Carolina uses to confuse them. Opens up the center, and Logan just gets into the second level where the linebackers have vacated. Nicely designed play by North Carolina.
Florida State in an all too familiar position right now, trailing once again like they did against Ole Miss and several other games early this year, down at the 22 and back to Adnan. All right, Adnan, let's see what DeAndre Francois can get done here. Redshirt freshman. Got a lot of support from present and past players at Florida State, including former quarterback Jameis Winston. Kept in constant contact with him via text. Here's Cook on the catch, runs for the first down. Picks up about 13 on the play. Stewart pushing him out of bounds. A lot going on down there on the field with Florida State. Their defensive coordinator, Coach Kelly, Charles Kelly there, imploring his defense to tune up a little bit, trying to get the right fits defensively. 1st and 10 from the 35. Cook on a little counter, picks up 2. Let's go down to Quint for more on that defense.
Coach Kelly in damage control mode, borderline panic mode, telling his guys, anticipate the motion, as if he had said that all week long. And for some reason, there's a separation right now between preparation and performance on game day. This defense, once again, is reeling.
Well, Q, you're right. That motion on that touchdown play thoroughly confused both linebackers.
Francois with time on the rollout. Finds his man at midfield. That's tight end Ryan Izzo. And Izzo with another first down. You know, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the fact that Derwin James is one of their key players right there defensively. And he is a big part of what they do. They could really use him right now.
He is a difference maker. He can play a number of positions. He can make big plays. And when you don't have him out there, it hurts your defense. But, you know, they're struggling. I mean, that confidence level on the Florida State defense seems to be down. They're having trouble dealing with the pace and with the motion. It's a problem.
Expecting him back for the Clemson game. A little bootleg action complete once again to Ryan Izzo. Yeah, back to James. Coach Kelly says it's like losing your quarterback on defense. Brings so much to the field for them. A 6-yard gain, and looking at 2nd down now here for the Seminoles. Still held scoreless.
Now, who would have thought the North Carolina defense that has struggled most of the year, giving up 30 points a game, will have shut out so far Florida State?
2nd and 4. High snap. Cook picks up about 2 on the play, leaving them with a 3rd down and 2 to go. Well, Calvin Cook out of Miami, Florida, Miami Central High School. And in South Florida, one of the great programs in the country. There's a look at his numbers today in comparison to last week when he had 267 yards rushing.
So far, sort of held in check. No huge runs. He opened last week with a 75-yard touchdown run.
Izzo in motion and flags down.
False start, offense, number 8, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
3rd down again, Rod. Let me ask you this. Are we in 4th down territory because of the fact that Aguayo's already missed 3, had 1 blocked?
It depends where you are on that 4th down. Now you're moving back 5 yards. If you're 4th and 7, I don't think it's 2 down territory. I think you're probably kicking if you don't pick it up. You're at your 43rd, the 43-yard line.
First kicker in the FBS to miss 3 field goals in a quarter. North Carolina had a hard time getting lined up defensively. Cook made a couple guys miss. Great cutback, and Dalvin Cook with a pivotal, critical first down for the Seminoles, but there's a flag down on the play.
Yeah, North Carolina was scrambling to get some guys off the field.
Offense, number 3, 10-yard penalty, 3rd down.
They can run 3rd down again. That penalty against Bobo Wilson.
Yeah, but look at this. Watch the hustle. Look at North Carolina getting off the field just in time. No penalty, and then a block in the back erases this fantastic run by Cook.
Ball all the way back at the 43 after that brilliant run by Dalvin Cook. Third and 7.
First charge timeout, Florida State.
Right now, Jimbo Fisher busted, disgusted, and not to be trusted. Back after this.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Chick-fil-A. We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich.
One of the compelling and enduring symbols of college football, Chief Osceola, a bored renegade. They really get the party cracking here in Tallahassee. 3rd and 7 for Florida State. 4 receivers out on this formation. Francois under heat, took a hit over the head of Bobo Wilson, and 4th down coming up. And DeAndre Francois took a lick here, Rod.
Well, they ran a nice little stunt. You see it comes right up the middle, and a big hit. Francois could not step into that throw because of the pressure.
And got a punting situation. Logan Tyler coming in for his first punt, averaging 43.5 yards per punt on the season. He was actually the number 1 ranked place kicker in high school a year ago. True freshman out of Missouri. And he places it inside the 10, where Switzer calls for the first catch on the 33-yard punt.
You know, this Florida State offense, I mean, has just struggled. You know, you think about what Jimbo said to his team. You stop you. Quit stopping yourself. Look what they've done. Missed a field goal, had a block kick, missed another one, and a punt. And how about the drop touchdown pass, you know, that Rudolph had down around the goal line. So Jimbo could just take his speech from last week and package it and say, you are stopping you.
Yeah, I'm not sure that he wanted to do that coming into this ball game, and getting involved there with the sidelines. First down and 10, North Carolina. Mitch Trubisky, the starting quarterback, out of the shotgun. Hands it off to Logan in space down to the 19-yard line. You know, let's get back to Mitch Trubisky. We alluded to it a little bit earlier, Rod. He was the backup for a few years and waited patiently, winning the respect of his teammates as he hands it off to Logan again. And, you know, backup for 3 years, struggled at times, but invariably went to work and never even entertained the idea of transferring.
Well, he was offered by North Carolina when no one else offered him, and then later in the process, Ohio State and everybody else came in, but he stuck with his commitment to North Carolina.
Former Mr. Football in Ohio, 2012. 1st and 10. Over to Switzer, complete at the 27-yard line, and still has that streak of well over 200 passes without an interception. Let's go down to Q.
And Coach Fedora mentioning about Trubisky, the importance of his parents. And you think about so many times when a guy transfers, the decision will come from home, not from campus. But giving the Trubisky parents a lot of credit for their loyalty and their faith and they're seeing that their son Mitch really loved his time on campus.
Doing a great job here this year. Coming into the game, completing 75% of his passes, hands it off to Hood. He gets about 2.5 yards before DeMarcus Walker makes the tackle on the play. Let's talk about DeMarcus Walker a little bit, number 44 for the Seminoles, a key in their pass rush, but kind of conspicuous by his silence so far.
Well, he's going to have a huge impact on this game before it's over, even on this third down. He's a guy that has to get penetration. They need big plays from him.
3rd and 2. See if he can get some pressure. Doesn't. And Switzer makes the catch. And a lot of room after the catch for the first down to the 40-yard line of the Seminoles.
You know, you have to know where number 3 is. You have to really double him. He is the focal point of this offense, particularly, you know, the passing attack. They'll hand it to him, but they like to get him in the slot, quick outs, quick screens. He's critical.
Trubisky with time in the seam again. Switzer makes it 1st and goal, and as you said, you got to find number 3.
And how about the pace? They're going right to the line of scrimmage. Florida State has had issues with this. Can they get lined up?
They barely do. Hood brought down at the 5 by DeMarcus Walker.
You have to know where this guy is. No one gets a hand on him. He just finds the soft spot behind the linebackers in front of the safeties. That's trouble. Number 3 is the key to this offense.
On 2nd and goal. Logan in the backfield. Howard up top. He's the tall receiver. Trubisky hands it off on the play to Jackson. And Jackson is stopped up at about the 4-yard line. It was a nice stop on the play by the front. Florida State trying to get personnel in the ball game. North Carolina going quick.
And North Carolina has used Howard down here, 84. He is their wide receiver to the top. He's 6'5", 220. Caught the winning touchdown pass last week.
See if they look his way here. Trubisky looks at the sideline. 3rd and goal. Seminoles really could use a stop here. Trubisky trying to do it himself. Took out his do-it-yourself kit and scores the touchdown. He outran Nate Andrews, the safety, to the pylon.
Does he break the plane? How about that dive? That is good. Completely into the end zone.
I'd score that dive a 10 based on his form alone, Rod. His 4th rushing touchdown of the season.
Checking for the out of bounds. Hard to tell there. Saw that his hand was down in the field of play. His knee wasn't down. And that is so close. Is that foot on the white or not?
And did he already break the plane?
Yeah, and you remember, you have to have indisputable video evidence.
The last play under review.
Yeah, it really has to be clear to you. Breaking the plane there versus where his foot is, and does it actually get white?
The call on the field was a touchdown. Must be indisputable video evidence to overturn the call on the field.
I have a hard time overturning that. I don't think I have enough to clearly see that right foot is out of bounds before the ball breaks the plane. This is a good look. Breaking the plane and that foot, that still looks green to me. Now it's possibly white. That's so close. I don't think there's enough to overturn that.
Boy, Trubisky showing his mobility. He's not just a statue, folks, back there in the pocket. He can move extremely well, and he illustrated that on that play.
Yeah, how about outrunning Nate Andrews to get to the corner? That's a heck of a play.
And Fedora with some instruction for his quarterback, the junior Mitch Trubisky, who, by the way, folks, is 11 of 12 passing as well for 134 yards and a touchdown in addition to that last gasp sprint into the end zone.
Any sense Florida State looking ahead to tonight's game between Louisville and Clemson, thinking, hey, easy win against North Carolina, get yourself in
After
position?
further review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
Funny thing can happen on the way of thinking about your fighting for an ACC championship. A North Carolina team can show up and run the ball on you and make some plays on defense on third down, and now it's 20-0.
Florida State was the favorite in this game, but North Carolina has scored on 3 of its 4 possessions so far. With under 7 minutes to go in the first half, Seminoles are shook so far. And the quarterback, Mitch Trubisky, the guy who they call Mr. Biscuit, just gave him a 6-piece plus a biscuit. Back after this. Welcome back, everyone, to Tallahassee, where you're watching the ACC on ESPN. And time now for our Aflac trivia question. ACC foes, Louisville, Clemson, leading the top 5 game tonight on ABC at 8. What was the first top 5 matchup in ACC conference history?
Good question.
Chew on that for folks.
Wouldn't you think like Miami or something in Florida State?
Guessing Florida State and somebody. Miami was back in the Big East for a while.
Big East for a while. Yeah, good point.
ACC foes Louisville and Clemson. All right, what was the first top 5 matchup in ACC history? The answer is Florida State, North Carolina. 97. It's back when our very own Mac Brown was on the sidelines for North Carolina. So was Burt Reynolds and Bobby Bowden. 20-3, the final score in that one. And well, we got 3 great matchups going back to yesterday at Stanford Washington games with top 10 teams.
Great for the Huskies
over the weekend.
Second charge timeout, Florida State. 30-second timeout.
Timeout for North Carolina. Let's go down to Quinn.
Yeah, Jimbo Fisher losing his cool on the Florida State sideline. An alignment problem. He's talking to Travis Rudolph right now. They come out of that break and they just line up incorrectly. And it goes back to yesterday when we sat down with Coach. He was talking about the lack of focus and just consistent little mistakes and how this team, for whatever reason, is struggling with some of the details of success.
It's a young team.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of the big problem. You've got a redshirt freshman quarterback. You've got a lot of freshmen playing on this team. And your leader, if you will, is Dalvin Cook, who's a junior, who you just got going. So,
and all that out of a timeout, Rod.
Yeah, and you're missing your star defensive player. So it's not surprising that emotionally and mentally the focus goes up and down with young players. That happens a lot. But what's amazing is really how North Carolina has taken advantage of it. And they're playing a well of a ball game. Don't sell them short on that.
First time they've been down by 20 or more since 2008. Francois trying to get a little back here and does. What a catch off a pinpoint pass to Bobo Wilson for the first down, and perhaps the biggest gain of the day for the Seminoles into North Carolina territory.
Yeah, big play. You had Wilson coming from the opposite side, and this is a defense that's given up an awful lot. You move the pocket, buy a little bit of time for Francois, and he drops in a perfectly thrown ball.
34-yard gain down to the 41. First and 10. Francois over the middle behind his receiver, but caught once again by Bobo Wilson. Remember, Francois already brought Florida State back from a 22-point deficit in the season opener against Ole Miss.
Well, Francois works the middle anytime he sees the 2 safeties instead of 1 safety, and they're showing it again. 2 safeties in the middle of the field. They try to work the inside.
This is the part of the field where they have struggled today. The Carolina defense has come up big. Little predetermined run by Francois, and he took a hit at the 14-yard line. Let's go back to the studio. Seminoles in the red zone here, Adnan, and it's Dalvin Cook off the little counter. Tiptoes down the sideline and put his hat down and pushed out of bounds at the 9-yard line. Gain of 5.
Working the edge, working the outside, where North Carolina has struggled to contain the football. The last 2 runs, again, Francois and Cook picking on that perimeter.
Dalvin Cook following in the footsteps of so many great runners here, including Devontae Freeman, who played here at Florida State, who's a mentor of Dalvin Cook's, both from Miami Central High School. 2nd and 5. Cook cuts it back. Seminoles on the board. Boy, Rod, when he puts his foot in the ground, it's something, isn't it?
Yeah, watch him get everybody flowing to the left and then just plant that left foot, cut back inside. North Carolina's linebackers overrun this.
His 32nd career touchdown in Florida State. With just under 5 minutes to go in the first half, finally get on the board, and the extra point good by Aguayo. Maybe that gets him a little confidence back. Dalvin Cook. The shadows of I-95, 95th Street and 17th Ave in Miami, Florida. The battle between two of the nation's top quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson at number 3 Louisville against Deshaun Watson, number 5 Clemson. At Death Valley tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern on ABC, streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. Boy, what a battle, Rod.
Great matchup. I happen to think that the Clemson defense is going to keep Jackson in the pocket, not let him run around.
He's had his way most of the year so far. This is Logan, who already has a couple of touchdowns, tackled at the 23. Back to Adnan. Adnan, I'm going to have Rod buy me some of that gumbo from Harry's restaurant. We sit down and watch that game back at the hotel tonight.
I'm all right with that. That's a deal. That's a great way to spend the night.
Switzer on the jet sweep. And Switzer quiets the crowd momentarily on that 8-yard gain on the play. 3 touchdowns on 4 drives. For North Carolina, they have been very efficient offensively. 2nd and 3. And the tempo very much in their favor. Hood picking up the first down across the 35 to the 37. He gets 7.
Well, Jonesy, the surprising thing is that North Carolina has run as well as they have today. I mean, rushing the ball is sort of the secondary thing for them, and they've done it well today.
Trubisky to Switzer again. Pushed out of bounds by Thomas.
They were at the bottom of the ACC in rushing, about 137 yards today, rushing. But they've done a much better job today, consistently running Hood.
On 2nd and 7. That's Chris Francis, the number 3 tailback, with a rare touch here so far. Got a yard on the play, sets up a 3rd down and long, and an opportunity perhaps here for the Florida State defense with a little over 3.5 to go.
Well, you figure they will look for Switzer and try and double him, which makes Pro number 7 in the slot a guy who becomes a possibility. But definitely time for doubling Switzer.
Roll number 7. First receiver to the bottom of your screen. Son of Ricky Prohl, the former NFL vet. And he makes the catch for the first down, Rod, as you predicted, for the 8-yard gain.
Well, he's got the best hands on the team. You know, in a clutch situation, where do you want to go? If you're not going to Switzer, it's this guy who's going to catch. I mean, he catches it like his daddy taught him.
Austin Prohl, the 5'10 junior out of Charlotte. Move the chains again from midfield now. North Carolina with a couple of timeouts remaining. Trubisky hands it off to Francis. His second carry on this drive. We've seen Hood, Logan, and now Francis in the backfield for North Carolina. Second down coming up.
Well, you need a play if you're Florida State. You need negative plays. Find a way to get Walker involved.
Trubisky, wide open Switzer. Let's see where they mark it. They're going to give him the first down at the 39-yard line. Switzer again. Trubisky, Rod, has completed his last 9 in a row.
No pressure. And the Florida State defense is struggling to find a way to get pressure on Trubisky. And Walker couldn't get by the running back who cut him that time. They can't get into the backfield.
1st and 10 on the fringes of field goal range. Under 2 minutes to go. Trubisky downfield, wide open, caught, and out of bounds at the 5. It's Bug Howard. 1st and goal, North Carolina. And this Seminole defense getting shredded right now.
Oh, man. And how about hurrying right to the line of scrimmage? Hands on hips for some of the Florida State players.
34-yard.
Not ready for the snap.
34-yard gain. Hood straight ahead between the tackles. Down to the 1-yard line. It'll be 2nd and goal. Clock running. 1:40 to go in the first half. First half dominated by North Carolina.
Have you ever recalled seeing Florida State's defense be pushed around like they have this season and in this first half?
They have been thoroughly beaten. And seemingly fatigued. DeMarcus Walker breathing heavily there. 2nd and goal. Trubisky. Incomplete, intended for Switzer. And Switzer comes up limping.
You know, and sometimes you don't want to hurry as you see Switzer come off. Looks like that it's his left hand or so. But you've got plenty of time. You got a couple of timeouts. You want to get the right play on 3rd down if you're the Tar Heels. No reason to rush now, but here's that ball as he tries to reach back and get it.
3rd and goal. Hood fumbled it. Seminoles recover. What a stand by Florida State. Big hit by Matthew Thomas to create the fumble.
That saves points. It gives momentum. And you see Thomas just come in and poke it out with his right hand. Came off the edge and wraps up Hood. Look at the right hand. I don't know that Hood had it secured completely, but Thomas got that right hand in there to poke it out.
Boy, we may want to circle this play and this moment. With time winding down in the first half, if they go in here, it's a 28-7 game.
Yeah.
And Florida State now with a little over a minute to go. 1 timeout remaining, hands it off to Cook. Cook gets about 5, tackled by Donnie Miles, but that was a huge play by Thomas.
That is the first big play the Florida State defense has made today, and it came at the right time to keep them in the ball game, get them some momentum, and have them feel a little bit better about the first half. But they made a play to keep points off the board.
2nd and 5. Alvin Cook brought down across the first down marker, picked up 7. Collins making the tackle. 28 seconds to go, 1st down and 10. They do have a place kicker in Logan Tyler that can make a field goal from about 65 yards, but they got a long way to go.
Well, they've missed 3 field goals in the first half, and you're a little backed up here. You haven't played well. Get to the locker room. Get to the locker room and regroup.
Francois with other thoughts, taking a shot here, and incomplete, intended for Travis Rudolph. Let's go down to Quint. Q?
Guys, interesting development. Elijah Wood is being walked to the locker room early. As he was coming off after that last fumble, he looked a little dizzy. He looked a little faint-headed and not all there, and he's getting helped off right now. Not sure if it happened on the fumble play or maybe the play prior, which contributed to the lack of ball security. Also, Switzer on the sideline, you guys mentioned he came off with what appeared to be a left thumb injury. He's doing a lot better than Elijah is right now.
Well, great observations there, Quint, from the sidelines, and two key players, one of them there, Hood. As that brings an end to the first half of play, and a chorus of boos smattering down on this pristine field here at Doak Campbell Stadium. As Francois and the Seminoles trail North Carolina 21-7. We're going to go to the Lexus halftime report. Guys, a 22-game home winning streak on the line. Folks, we'll be back with more action right after these messages. Welcome back, everyone, to ESPN College Football presented by Exxon and Mobil. From Tallahassee, a little bit of a surprise so far. Carolina 3-1, leading 21-7. And now time for Ready for Kickoff, brought to you by Cintas.
Well, keep in mind the things that you need in the second half, adjustments. You got to be more productive in your passing a game. No consistency from Florida State, and they're 0-4 on third down. That's a problem. The defense, how about the rushing attack for North Carolina? That's a surprise. They don't run it that well, but they're running it today. For North Carolina, keep doing what you're doing. You've got a receiver that's already gone for 100 yards in Switzer with 8 catches. The rushing attack, 142 yards. So they've got the right kind of balance. And Trubisky, what is he, 15 of 17 in the first half?
Yeah.
So for North Carolina offensively, keep doing what you're doing. Mix it up, and you're keeping the defense off balance.
When you talk about Florida State trying to make the adjustments on Trubisky, what kind of defensive things are you looking at doing to change?
Well, I think clearly they have to find a way to get a little bit of pressure on him. They haven't been able to do that. The other thing is that Switzer is killing him. He has 8 catches for 100 yards. When he's in the slot, they haven't been able to double him, so they got to find a way to really kind of thwart him because he keeps the chains moving for North Carolina.
Yeah, 8 catches for 100 yards in the first half, and Florida State looking for a little bit more pass rush, and will have to get it done here early in the third quarter because North Carolina will start off with possession of the football. 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line. Let's go down to Quint.
Poise and details. Jimbo Fisher's response to what's it going to take to sustain drives once you cross the middle of the field, whether it's a penalty, a drop, or missed field goals. Those are the little things that are on his mind. Now, meanwhile, on the North Carolina sideline, it's all about injuries. Late in that second quarter, Ryan Switzer hurt his left thumb. He's back on the field and looks good. I am looking for running back Elijah Hood, 34 in white, and I do not see him right now out of the locker room.
Well, Q, keep in mind Logan had a really good first half for them, but they would miss Hood, who is really their inside runner.
1st down and 10, 25-yard line. That's Switzer in motion, and he catches the bubble screen on the fly. Got a block on the edge, but not much of a gain. Probably about 3 yards on the play, maybe closer to 5.
Partner, this is a critical drive here. This is about momentum. Florida State has a chance to get a little bit. North Carolina can get control.
That pass complete to the tight end, Carl Tucker. And Tucker has a 1st down at the 38-yard line.
Remember the end of the first half. Florida State got the fumble, caused a fumble to keep North Carolina from scoring. Chance for momentum now, but that defense has got to find a way to get a stop.
A little screen set up that time to bug Howard. And Howard stopped up right near the line of scrimmage. Might have got a yard on the play. Josh Sweat making the tackle. Mitch Trubisky setting a school record for a 3-game stretch. Almost 1,100 yards passing.
And now the question is, will Charles Kelly, the defensive coordinator, bring some heat after him on 2nd and long and try and create a negative play here?
Pass complete. close to another first down and a late flag on the play. Mac Hollins making the catch and the run. Trubisky, by the way, completing 82% of his passes, folks, since losing the opener to Georgia. He has been on fire. Here's the call.
Personal foul. Defense, number 37. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Late hit. Already down. You see Myers with the spear with the shoulder. And back to Trubisky. He's got a quarterback rating, a QBR of 86.2, number 5 in the country.
Wow. Little play action. Trubisky with plenty of time. And there's the pass rush finally for Florida State. Ball loose too. Recovered by North Carolina. But DeMarcus Walker brought the heat.
Well, he had his outlet receiver, Vargas, the tight end. He didn't see him and didn't get rid of the football. Held it a bit long, and fortunately for North Carolina, they didn't lose the ball. That easily could have been picked up, but it's the first pressure by Florida State this half.
2nd and 17. Trubisky. Great improvising skills. Catch made by Mac Hollins. Hollins actually last year led all FBS schools in yards per reception. Back quickly to the line of scrimmage. 3rd and 7. Switzer, the inside receiver to the top of your screen. Little pressure. Trubisky, boy, he escapes. I'm not sure how. And he was lucky just to get back to the line of scrimmage. A.J. Westbrook finally making the tackle for the Seminoles.
He's 6'3", 225. Shakes off some of the pressure. Can't shake all of it. But if you're a Florida State fan, that series, the first sign of life defensively with pressure to affect the passing attack that was hurting them.
Looks like they're going to bring in Nick Weiler. Trying to attempt a field goal. It's going to be a long one.
51 yards.
His long this year is 49. And this is going to be his first attempt career-wise from beyond 50. And he pushes it off to the right. So the Seminoles defensively get off to a good start here in this 3rd quarter. Who knows? Maybe they got North Carolina right where they want them. They've come back from 22 already this year. This college football season, stream every game live on the ESPN app or on Watch ESPN as well, folks. Download the app or visit watchespn.com today. Florida State trailing 21-7. People checking their scores on the ESPN app and watching the Michigan-Wisconsin game on their phones and other devices. 1st and 10. Cook on the sweep. Cook picks up the first down for Florida State.
Bread and butter stretch play to get Cook to the outside.
20 touches was kind of the goal for them today, Rob.
Yeah, I think they're going to go over that. I mean, he probably will have to touch it 25 times for them to win this game, whether it's rushing it or catching it in the flat. They're struggling on 3rd down. They're struggling to throw the ball a bit. So they need a little bit more consistency.
Little play action, Francois. Downfield and incomplete. That was Cook out as a receiver.
Just a wheel route out of the backfield. Again, trying to get the ball to Cook. Get him enough touches, let him impact the game. He just missed him, overshot him.
Francois now 8 of 15 passing for 158 yards.
How much do you think the whole LSU, Les Miles fired, talk about Jimbo being a candidate distracted this team this week?
There was a lot in the local media and even nationally about prospects and possibilities of Jimbo Fisher changing addresses. Cook out of the backfield makes the catch this time. out in space, picks up another Seminole first down, and they want a late hit on the sidelines too.
Well, Cook can erase some bad plays, some bad situations, and you flare it out to him, and here comes the late hit afterwards. No flag.
Almost looked like just a push in the back.
Yeah. Well, but they called one earlier today.
Yeah.
That was a little late one, so fans are saying equal time for the Seminoles.
Cook, an improved pass receiver this year, rounding out his skill sets. 4 receiver formation. They give it to Cook again. Nice little sidestep to elude one tackler, then forced out of bounds at about the 44-yard line. Picked up 1, Rod.
To your point about Jimbo Fisher, when all the noise started about LSU, he came out and he said, hey, I'm not talking about this. And then the next day he came out and he said, look, I love it here at Florida State. I plan to be here a long time, thinking that would eliminate the noise. And maybe it will, maybe it won't, but it certainly was an issue early in the week.
2nd and 9. I wonder how much that might affect recruiting moving forward. Was Patrick in the backfield. Francois looking downfield. Wide open is tight end. Izzo with space. Touchdown, Florida State. But there's a flag down. There's a flag at the 9-yard line. Jaquez Patrick was in the area, and here's the call.
Holding. Offense number 9. 10-yard penalty. First down.
That's against Patrick. And that wipes out a 43-yard touchdown. Looked like he might have had a grab of the uniform there.
They got a lot of cloth there. You see, it's just a throwback. And you'll see 9 show up right down here, and that arm wrapped around the outside of Collins, number 23. But keep those hands inside, you can get away with it.
On 1st and 10. Patrick looking for atonement. Ball came loose. Still looking for a call. No call yet. Touchdown. So Patrick makes up for that penalty. Oh, this might come back.
Yeah, now Collins
didn't
knocks
recover it.
out, but does he recover it before going out of bounds?
Yeah, he got both feet in.
Yeah, he's got control.
Boy,
that's a heck of a play.
Great concentration, partner. It was knocked loose. That was one of those Jimbo Fisher, I love you.
Don't give me the heart attack. Carry the ball into the end zone.
That's his 3rd rushing touchdown of the season, 8th of his career. And the Seminoles just 7 points back of North Carolina now. Patrick and Francois, former high school buddies and elementary school friends as well. Good recovery. Back after this.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Buick, proud partner of the NCAA.
So how do you react when the players start tearing this thing up?
Hey, this is their world. I'm just painting it.
And this was the scene a little bit earlier yesterday. Our very own Quint Kessenica, I think this was a color by numbers job, Rod, as Quint with a very deft touch at midfield.
He should have gone for the colors. Not the white. Give me some of the other stuff. Come on, Q.
I'm not sure they trusted him with more than just those few strokes there, but he did a great job. And North Carolina will start from the 25. Tell us about that last touchdown and the key on that play, Rod.
Well, the Florida State rushing attack is starting to find its gear. Watch them hunt down these linebackers as they pull their guards and their tackle and run this counter and just really blow them out of there. you hunt linebackers like that, and you have a big old running back like Jaquez Patrick run through a tackle, start finding your groove, and Patrick can give them their groove a little bit.
Yeah, you mentioned big. He's 6'2", 230. And still no sign of Elijah Hood in the backfield for North Carolina. Quint pointed that out near the end of the first half. Looked a little groggy. We see T.J. Logan in the backfield once again beside quarterback Mitch Trubisky. And a whistle before the play.
Timeout, North Carolina. First timeout, 30 seconds.
Hey folks, this week on Monday Night Football, it's an NFC battle between Eli Manning and the 2-1 Giants, undefeated Minnesota, at the new U.S. Bank Stadium in downtown Minneapolis, 8:15 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Coverage beginning with Monday Night Countdown at 6. Also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. Interesting timeout taken there by Larry Fedora. Their goal once again this year to win the Coastal Division. Lost the first game of the season last year like they did this year, and pretty much ran the table. Didn't lose again until the ACC title game. And he says there's a lot of parallels between this year's team and last year's team with respect to their grit and persistence. Trubisky fumbled it and almost got picked off the hands of Matthew Thomas. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Well, they've been out of sync since Hood has been out of the ballgame. Remember, he got banged up right before halftime, as Quint mentioned, and the rushing attack for North Carolina has been non-existent in this third quarter.
They go empty here with 5 receivers. Switzer split to the bottom of your screen, the inside receiver. They come outside to the 28-yard line. Tackle made by Marshall on Switzer. Let's go to Quint.
Mark, earlier we talked about Caleb Peterson, North Carolina's left guard, their best offensive lineman, being banged up this week. He played the whole first half, but he's not in right now. And protecting Trubisky for more than 3 seconds all of a sudden is a chore.
Okay, let's see if the Seminoles bring some heat here. Nick Polino in at guard in place of him. Trubisky wide open. Prohl. They turned him loose down the sidelines, and a big first down. I'm talking about room service, folks. He was really wide open for 44 yards.
Yeah, another blown assignment. Look at here. This is just a switch. The number 2 receiver inside. Miscommunication between Florida State. They've had that all season.
Trubisky hasn't thrown an interception now in 227 consecutive passes with that last completion. That was Logan. Picked up a couple on the play. 2nd down. That's the kind of completion takes the steam out of the defense a little bit. Trubisky with some pressure on him. Tried to make a play, but that one incomplete, intended for Prohl. He was way out of bounds, and Josh Sweat with the pressure.
Prohl was by himself again. There's an issue in the secondary for Florida State. Now watch this. I mean, again, it's the same situation that they misread a 2-receiver set and left a guy completely wide open.
Communication an issue for the Seminoles. Something that Coach Fisher has tried to rectify during the last couple of weeks. Third and 9. Trubisky. Another first down to Switzer.
He catches everything. And that was a bullet.
Up at the line of scrimmage again quickly. That's Logan, stomped up by Hoskins.
Jonesy, this is where they miss Hood. You know, Hood's the big inside runner at 230 pounds. Logan is about $185, $190. That extra power inside that you need down here, you don't have.
Let's keep an eye on number 84, Howard. He's that tall, rangy receiver that got the game winner last week. Trubisky wide open and dropped by Carl Tucker. He had a touchdown in his grasp, and he couldn't squeeze it. Might have been, Rod, a little low, but certainly catchable.
Yeah, but this is the third play on the left side of the defense where the second receiver out has been wide open. Florida State completely blowing communication on how to pick up that second guy. And North Carolina keeps going back to it with a different guy.
See if they do it again here. I mean, those guys on that side of the field for Florida State playing like they've never met each other. 3rd and 9. Trubisky complete, lunging for the pylon touchdown. Hollins with the score.
Remember, Jonesy, all he has to do is break the plane. The ball has to break the plane. Watch the presence of mind here. Stops himself, gathers, breaks the plane inside the cone.
Tremendous effort by Mac Hollins, who came into the game really nicked up. They weren't even sure how much he might play.
Well, he stretched out every bit of his 6'4" and palmed that ball one hand to get it in there.
Remember, it was Hollins' idea to come out with Switzer and Howard to wear the robes last week against Pitt and let the nation know that you can't sleep on us. Robes, slippers, whatever. Carolina wide awake on offense, though, back after this. Well, battle between two of the nation's top quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson, Louisville, Deshaun Watson, and number 5, Clemson at Death Valley tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern on ABC, streaming live on the ESPN app and Watch ESPN.
You know, if Florida State wins and wins out, and those 3 tie, you know, the ACC will pick their champ out of this division. By
don't say it. Don't say it.
An outsider,
don't
a private company will choose the champ of that division. Crazy, huh?
Kermit Whitfield on the return. Brought down at the 24. Back to Adnan in the studio.
Whitfield on the return.
Right Adnan out of the eye. 1st and 10. Cook with the toss into the boundary. A flag thrown at the 24-yard line. Cook down at the 27. Let's see what this flag is about.
81 offense, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
It's going to go against Izzo as we take a look at this week's college football rankings, brought to you by Allstate.
Well, you saw the Huskies last night. Boy, did they look good.
Impressive.
That was some sort of a beatdown down there. But this is the one we all want to see, Louisville and Clemson.
So you think Clemson's defense is going to be the difference tonight, huh?
Yeah, I do. I think that they will make Lamar Jackson stay in the pocket and beat them with his arm. And I think when you make him one-dimensional and take the rushing away, that's tough. Plus, that's a tough place to play.
Yeah.
It's going to be loud there in Death Valley.
Interesting how Clemson got off to a little bit of a slow start offensively first couple of games. At least the first one of the season. Sacked. Is it going to be a safety? Still no signal. It was close. It's a safety. Malik Carney sacks Francois in the end zone.
You know, Jonesy, they were trying to set up a screen, but the pressure came so fast, and there was a great holdup of Cook that they couldn't get the ball out to him.
The game clock
and Francois ends up taking a safety. Now, you take a look. Was the ball in the end zone? Yeah, looks from there like his progress was not forward, that he was in the end zone, knee down.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Wow is right.
That is a stunning blow to Florida State.
Well, the stunning thing was they were inviting the rush in to throw the screen pass to Cook, and they couldn't handle that. Look at that. They're setting up the screen pass to Cook.
This play is under further review.
Yeah, they're going to look and see if this is going to be a safety or not, because in debate is his forward progress, I guess.
Well, and it's where the football is. If the football is in the end zone, then it's a safety. If it's in the field of play at all, then they would mark it there. But from that angle, he's got control of it. Now, you could make an argument that he was stopped at about the half-yard line,
yes,
and driven back into the end zone.
The more I look at that,
yeah,
partner, it looks like this might be overturned.
If I'm Jimbo Fisher, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, look, you know, he wasn't going forward. He was tackled in the field of play and pushed back in there. So forget about the ball.
Right.
Talk about his forward progress. He was down in the field of play and pushed back into the end zone. And I think that's a good argument. I'd mark him at the half-yard line.
Here it is in real speed.
Yeah, that's an argument that should be made that I think the replay officials would be looking at. Was his progress stopped at about the half-yard line and then driven into the end zone?
Well, the call in the field is that it's a safety. It'll be a case where they need indisputable. This is a better angle because you see where his progress is.
I think he's driven into the end zone. I think everything was stopped in the field of play somewhere around the 1-yard line or so.
Yeah, it appears that it was well outside the end zone, at least right around the 1-yard line. But sometimes when it takes this long, they're looking to see how much time should be left on the clock. Well, or the spot.
Yeah, I mean,
or both.
I think you're right. They've made that decision. They're probably looking at clock and where do they spot it? Is it the 1? Is it the 2? Is it the 1.5? Is it the half-yard line? I think that's what they're trying to figure out.
Well, Jimbo is traditionally being very hands-on, I'll say, with his quarterbacks over the years, and very passionate in getting instruction to them. I'm sure Francois will feel it soon.
For the review, the runner was stopped at the 2-yard line. It will be second down. The clock will start on my signal.
They lose a lot of yards regardless, Rod.
It's a tough place to be right now, and you're backed up, and they can't seem to keep North Carolina out when they pressure them. So, I mean, this is a place where they start thinking just trying to get out so you can kick the ball away. Dalvin Cook maybe just hand it off and try and wedge out some yards here, because this is still dangerous territory. You can still get sacked for a safety down here.
It is 2nd and 33. Let's go down to Quint. Quint?
Francois kept his poise, as Jimbo Fisher said, throw it at his feet. Throw it at his feet. It's a screen. Throw it at his feet. Inexperienced. He's only a redshirt freshman.
Yeah.
Great point.
You can throw that ball away. There's no question about it.
Great pictures there from the sidelines. Gets rid of it this time out of the end zone. Cook bottled up with nowhere to go and tackled at the 8-yard line. Gain of 6 on the play. It'll be 3rd down and about 27 to go. 3rd in Panama City to go.
Well, and Gene Chizik has not backed off on 3rd down situations. He's been bringing pressure for North Carolina, trying to create situations and still managing to keep a couple safeties back to guard against the big play. You'll see him out there now. He's playing pretty soft in the back end, couple safeties back, but here comes some pressure.
Francois rolling out, sets his feet and fires open and caught, but short of the 1st down at about the 29-yard line by Bo Wilson. If Wilson could have stayed on his feet, he might have been able to get to that marker, but he picks up 24, bringing up a 4th down situation. But a little bit more breathing room, at least, for Logan Tyler, their punter. Florida State took the opening drive of, or at least their first possession of the 2nd half, and scored a touchdown, but no such scenario here. And keep an eye on Switzer, who's back for this punt. He's a 2-time All-American on the punt return team. Actually had a punt for a touchdown called back, and there's going to be a flag as they came after Logan Tyler, the punter for Florida State. Corey Bell ran into him.
Personal foul. Running into the kicker. Defense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Seminole is going to retain possession after this.
Well, Larry Fedora giving his guys grief because that's a gimme. You had them backed up inside the 5 with a 2nd and 33, and you give them a first down. You were about to get the ball back and a chance to have momentum and really go after them. But now Florida State retains possession. They've got some momentum. The question for Florida State is the production from their wide receivers. It's been so much Delvin Cook. They've not been able to throw the ball effectively. They only have 3 catches by their wide receivers.
And Rudolph dropped a potential touchdown pass in the first half. Francois looking for somebody, going to take off, and is tackled at the 47-yard line. Got about 4 or 5. Holcomb making the stop for North Carolina. Second down coming up for the Seminoles.
Hard for Francois to get comfortable in the pocket with the heat that's been on him today.
First Saturday in October. And a big surprise so far here in Tallahassee. Florida State, who began the season number 2 in the rankings, trying to keep their hopes alive. Cook tiptoeing and trying to find a seam over midfield at the 49. Setting up a 3rd down and about 3 to go. Got 4 on the play.
They've
4
not
minutes
been,
to go.
They've not been good on 3rd down, and they've not been good getting the ball to wide receivers. They've not been productive on the outside today. I think Rudolph has 1 catch, 1 big drop.
Izzo in motion, now sets. They're going to run it on 3rd down and get stoned right at the line of scrimmage. Good surge up front by that Tar Heel defense led by Aaron Crawford. Oz Jones also in the neighborhood, and a team that has been maligned, a unit that has been criticized and scrutinized for the last several weeks, giving up big numbers rushing, has come alive and done a nice job here this afternoon in Tallahassee. Gene Chizik, the defensive coordinator for the Tar Heels, has got his team playing some good ball. 4th and 3 coming up for Florida State when we come back. Well, tonight after Arizona UCLA, don't miss Sports Center at Night with Lisa Kearney and John Buccigross. We'll have all highlights from college football, baseball's playoff races, plus NFL news and everything else from a busy day in sports. Also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. Rod, 4th down. They're going to go for it.
I don't get it. You know, you're down 2 possessions. You can kick this and play defense. You're down only 2. You can get right back in this thing.
First time they've gone for it on 4th down this year.
You know, you miss this, you might lose the game right here and now.
Showing confidence in his quarterback, gets the first down, and then some. Francois out of bounds at the 32. So Jimbo Fisher takes a gamble and comes up big.
And a big sigh of relief as they run a quarterback counter, get a couple guys out in front of him, and Francois picks it up. Now you have a chance, but still, Florida State, the wide receivers have not been productive. So much pressure on Cook to make plays. Someone's got to help Francois on the outside.
18-yard gain. First and 10, Cook trying to get to the edge and brought down at about the 28-yard line. Rod, let's go back to that last 4th down gamble. How much does that say, I don't trust my defense, if you're Jimbo Fisher?
I think it says that, and I think they were feeling a bit of desperation. And, you know, it's late 3rd quarter. You're going to get 3-4 possessions, at least maybe 5. So there is a sense of desperation right now for this Florida State team. That's why they went for it.
2nd and 7. They retain possession here. Ball at the 29. Cook set real deep in that backfield. Almost more than the customary 7 yards. Little play fake. Francois completes it to his tight end at the 14-yard line. Maven Saunders with another reception for 15 yards and another first down.
That is about the 4th tight end dragging across the middle. They've run today, and it's worked for them because they really haven't had a chance to get anything to the receivers. Red zone.
Is that an old Bill Walsh play?
Oh, yeah.
Is that one of your Stanford deals?
Oh, yeah, layers.
I thought you might recognize that. 1st and 10. Cook into the boundary. Tackled right at the 10-yard line. Cook with his 15th 100-yard plus rushing game of his career. Donnie Miles making the stop. Dalvin Cook out of Miami, Florida, a guy that learned about hard work and perseverance, going to school, then football practice, and then putting in a nice long shift at his dad's car wash down there in Miami, Florida. 2nd and 6. Cook tripped up just before he was into the end zone by Cole Holcomb. And it's 1st and goal for Florida State.
He is such a strong runner. He cuts back, falls forward, powerful legs, hard to arm tackle him. He should touch it again.
Back up at the line of scrimmage. It might have been a false start. Well, the Seminoles imploding there.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
This has not been an easy drive for Florida State. They've had to overcome one mistake after another.
In Jimbo's own words, you beat you. And that's what they did on that play.
Do your job. That's Eberle, the center.
12th play of the drive coming up. Still 1st and goal. Cook tackled at the 3. It'll be 2nd and goal. Cook showing good patience as time winds down at the end of the 3rd quarter now. Florida State trailing 28-14. A 22-game home field winning streak on the line. The longest winning streak in the nation. But that's the furthest thing from Coach Fisher's mind right now. He simply wants a touchdown. Back after this. Welcome back, everyone, to ESPN College Football presented by Exxon and Mobil. Start of the 4th quarter, 15 minutes to play. Florida State at a critical juncture here. 2nd and goal, down by 14 points.
They're not afraid to run Francois in this situation.
Empty formation. That's what they do. Trying to hit the edge, but he can't get there. Stopped at about the 2-yard line. 3rd and goal coming up. 4 down territory?
Well, maybe. I think so when you went for it on 4th down, but I need Dalvin Cook out there. I mean, if I'm going to trust anybody on 3rd down or 4th down, it's got to be Cook.
He already went for it on 4th down earlier.
I mean, he is arguably the best running back in college football. He's hard to arm tackle, doesn't generally give up the football.
Cook, and he's stoned near the line of scrimmage. They kept him out of the end zone, but there's a flag down on the play. Andre Smith made the stop.
Offsides, defense, half the distance to the goal, 3rd down.
Well, maybe that's why they made the stop. Andre Smith, one of those players that didn't get a look from Florida State. There he is. He remembers the moment one of the Seminole coaches came to his high school visiting, told his football coach he's not quite tall enough. Well, doesn't quite measure up. So he's got something to play for today.
Right now he's going to be playing for Dalvin Cook. You know, Q and I and you watching film this week, we know the left side is the strong side of that line. You would assume that's where they're going with Dalvin Cook.
Cook again went high. And they're going to mark it short of the end zone. 4th and goal coming up. One more look.
No,
there's no way he got in.
No, does not get in. Does not get in. but you have no choice here. You went for it on a 4th and 3. You have to go here, and it's still Cook. This is his team.
Yeah.
He's the guy.
Frederick Jones, number 55, in as an extra blocker. There he is in motion. Cook again, easily. Touchdown, Seminoles. His second rushing touchdown today. And now within 8.
It's not the classic drive that you draw up, but Florida State will take it.
They don't have a scoreboard for beauty points. Extra point good, and it's a 7-point game. 15 plays, 76-yard drive, using up a little under 9 minutes on the clock. Dalvin Cook cooking with some hot fish grease right now, folks. He's rolling. Back after this. Welcome back, everyone, to Tallahassee. Mark Jones along with Rod Gilmore. Quinn Kesselnick down the field. The Seminoles back to within 7. They trailed by as many as 21 in this game. And this is going to come out to the 25-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Tar Heels. Let's go back to that long drive, Rod.
Oh, what a drive. They had to overcome an awful lot. It started back in the 3rd quarter. The safety that was not a safety. And then how about the roughing the kicker that saved the drive? And then the first of 2 4th-down conversions for Florida State. And then finally in the 4th quarter, here you go, Cook getting in a 15-play, 76-yard drive that was almost 9 minutes. It's not classic. They overcame an awful lot, but it might have saved Florida State's opportunity to stay in the hunt in the ACC.
1st and 10. The question begs now, how does Mitch Trubisky and the offense respond? And he's sacked back at the 20. Going to be a loss of about 5. Derek Nottie and DeMarcus Christmas saying hello.
That is the most pressure they've had inside by those tackles, Nottie and Christmas, and they just shut things down inside. Now the question is, where do you find Switzer? Switzer's been the guy they've gone to when they've had issues. This is sort of his time.
That pass complete at the 26-yard line to Bug Howard. Gets 5. He was the clutch guy last week, folks. If you're just joining us, he caught the game-winning touchdown on the final drive for Carolina against Pitt. Looking at 3rd down coming up.
I'm assuming they will double Switzer in the slot. Number 3, top of the screen. There he is. He is the guy. Right there.
Switzer already over 100 yards receiving today. Trubisky waiting, misfiring, and that wasn't even close.
We don't know if it was the throw or the route, but that is the biggest miscommunication between quarterback receiver for North Carolina. You see him talking about it right now. You're supposed to go out, man. Really? What's going in?
Mac Hollins, number 13, the intended receiver on the play, and now Coach Fedora going to get them all on the same page. This is the first punt of the day for Tom Sheldon, a 27-year-old Australian. And boy, is there a story there. An end-over-end punt. A fair catch called at the 35 by Bobo Wilson, a 39-yard punt. There he is. You know, there's a flag down at the play, but one more look there at Sheldon. He actually...
Holding, receiving team, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
He was recruited by Fedora when Sheldon actually sent a YouTube video of himself from Australia to Fedora's office, and Fedora wasn't quite sure about his punter's ability, so he said, make sure that those cones are each 10 yards apart, because I don't want to get catfished on this deal here.
He never saw the guy or met the guy, but offered him a scholarship based on his YouTube video.
Sight unseen. And he has quickly become one of the favorites in the locker room amongst his teammates.
Isn't he one of the older guys?
27-year-old freshman. He did have about 40 hours of engineering classes in school back in Australia. Right now, it's Francois deep into traffic and incomplete at the 32, no flags.
And there shouldn't be.
Travis Rudolph back there to try and make the catch. Defended well by M.J. Stewart.
Yeah, good double coverage. Probably not the place where Francois should have gone with the ball. And the ball was underthrown, and Francois takes a hit at the end of it.
Francois proved in that Ole Miss game, as he did right there, that he can take a hit and get right back up. 2nd and 10, although you don't want to leave him wide open to too much damage too frequently. Under 12 minutes to go. Out of the backfield, it's Cook. On the loose. Got the first down beyond the 35-yard line. Dalvin Cook got a good block on the corner from Travis Rudolph to pick up 12 yards.
Just watch what happens over here, how they block off the guy who is supposed to get outside. It's just a little block, a little pick there to free Cook to the outside. Gotta hate those.
Q?
Yeah, Rudolph is engaged in that block before the ball's really in the air.
Yeah.
And that was a huge concern of Gene Chizik, Carolina defensive coordinator, the downfield blocking for the wide receivers.
His RPOs will bring that scenario up all the time. Little bootleg action, and Izzo put his hat down and got out to the 43-yard line.
You know, when you think about what's at stake for Florida State, I mean, everyone assumed that they would be in the hunt in the ACC and a playoff contending team. You're a little concerned about them if you watch them today. I mean, they struggled defensively. They're struggling to pass the ball to their wide receivers today. Hard to say right now that this is a playoff team.
Jimbo Fisher underscoring that, telling us we got a lot of young guys. And so far, the young guys don't know that they don't know. But we do know that Bobo Wilson made that catch for the first down at the 41-yard line, working against Des Lawrence to gain 16.
They are a hard-playing, resilient team. As you see Wilson work his way to the inside. They have come back before. They don't give up when they're down.
1st and 10. North Carolina side of midfield. 10.5 minutes to go. Design quarterback run, and Francois behind the block of Dalvin Cook, tackled by Holcomb and Miles. We talked about Cook at the top of the show, Rod, and an ideal number of touches was 20. They're well beyond that so far. How do you decide how judicious to be in using him?
You're trying to win.
Okay.
It's that simple. 24. I mean, if he's got to touch it 30 times to keep their ACC championship hopes alive, he'll get it that many times or more.
There's number 29 in terms of touches. He was tripped up in the backfield, never really got it going, tackled shy of the 35. Third down coming up.
Now remember what Florida State sort of had in mind. It's, hey, win today, take care of Miami, watch Louisville, Clemson, root for Clemson, get them a win, and then turn around and beat Clemson later, and voila, they're in position to win the division.
It's a lot of moving parts.
You can't get there when you can't convert on third down, though.
Yeah, big game tonight, too. You'll see on ABC. Clemson and Louisville. Florida State 0 of 7 on third downs tonight. This would be their first third down conversion. And who else do you give it to but Cook? Picks up the first down at the 23-yard line.
He is so good.
Invariable and inexorable and unstoppable that time.
He's also tired right now. I mean, just bobbing and weaving his way, picking his way to the first down, keeping the drive alive. But he's a little winded right now. 26 rushes, 30 touches overall?
Jaquez Patrick in the ball game for Cook. 2 tight ends, single back formation. Bobo Wilson split to the bottom of your screen. Little stretch play into the boundary for Patrick. Picks up 3. Tayshaun Collins made the tackle on the play. Jaquez Patrick came into the game their second leading rusher. He and DeAndre Francois played a lot of Little League football together in the Orlando area.
You know, Jonesy, Q, this defense looks a little winded to me. They've played better than they have all season, and Florida State's just pounding at them. Is that your sense at all, Q?
Absolutely agree with you. For the first time, Carolina's defense just losing some of these one-on-one matchups. And now with Jaquez Patrick at 231 pounds, they bring in a fresh hammer.
On the reverse, this is the speedster Whitfield. Did a little hand walk, but nowhere to go. Well read and deciphered by the Carolina defense, and there's a flag on the far side of the field. Tackle made by Donnie Miles.
Yeah, Cason Collins made that play. He set the edge and turned it
Personal
back
foul.
inside.
Illegal block below the waist. Offense number 69. 15-yard penalty. Second down.
Isn't that like the 3rd or 4th penalty that has really impacted a Florida State drive at a key point? They've had 9 penalties for 85 yards.
Yeah, that one moves them back quite a bit. With just over 7.5 minutes to go, a big discrepancy in penalties today. And you don't want to trust the place kicking at this point of the game. Already down 7 points. I'm not sure how much of an option that is.
Well, they seem to have moved away from the place kicking after they missed their 3rd field goal in the first quarter.
Cook back in. 4 receivers out on this formation for Francois. Cook out of the backfield, has a blocker in front. He's got the middle of the field. Dalvin Cook keeps those legs going all the way to the 10-yard line. First down, Seminoles. 24-yard gain.
Just a well-done little screen play. Just have him run over the middle, release your lineman right in front of him, and Cook does the rest. Sets them up nicely inside the 15.
Spotted at the 11-yard line. Francois going to take off. Found a seam over the right side. Makes it down to the 7-yard line. Picked up close to 4 on the play.
Well, they're doing a nice job of mixing things up. You heard Q talk about this North Carolina defense being winded. They run them to the side and they pound them inside. Defense is a little winded.
Cook there standing with his hands on his hips.
This is
stays in the ball game.
It's the second long drive back to back that defense has been out there. The 11th play of this drive.
Freddie Stevenson, the fullback. Cook, the deep back out of the eye. He's got a lead blocker. Cuts it back and makes it down to the 3. It'll be 3rd down and about a long 2 to go, Rod.
Yeah, Cook is tired too, but see how he's dragging North Carolina guys? They're tired too. I mean, we saw them kind of really getting in front, trying to hang on, but he's dragging Tar Heel guys.
He's gassed, though.
Yeah, he's gassed too. 27 rushes, 5 receptions. So much at stake.
It'll be tough to figure in the ACC championship if you go 2 losses down. Third and 2. Cook spins. Touchdown Seminoles. A little Cook magic for you.
This is just heart and toughness. He is dead tired, throws one guy off, and runs through a couple more tackles. Yeah, the Tar Heel guys are winded, and they're having trouble wrapping up, but Cook was determined to get in, and he's winded, and he fought his way in.
A real portrait of persistence that time. Cook with his 3rd rushing touchdown today. Look at the spin move. He sauced on him. And we're knotted at 28. Great finish coming up.
ESPN College Football is presented by Exxon and Mobil. Refuel with new Synergy gasoline from Exxon and Mobil. Energy lives here. And in part by Firestone. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
And welcome back, everyone, to Tallahassee, where you're watching the ACC on ESPN. An intriguing finish coming up in this last few minutes of the ball game. 5:11 to go, and Carolina will start from the 25. Adnan Burke, what's up? .5:11 to go, 1st and 10 for North Carolina. Logan in the backfield, Switzer in motion. It's Switzer on the bubble screen. He's got a couple blockers out there for the first down at the 40-yard line. Carolina in a similar position to last week coming down the stretch.
Well, that was an important start, though, because remember, their last series, 3 and out. They just picked up 15 yards. That's a good start for the Tar Heels.
Going quick. Handoff to Logan. There's a flag down on the play. Remember, Elijah Hood, the starting tailback, has not played in the second half.
Offense, number 6, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Well, Jonesy, I think having Hood out really hurt Carolina's offense. I mean, in the first half, they were moving with him. 328 yards, 21 points. In the second half, only 7 points, 102 yards, and they really haven't had the ball, and they couldn't run the ball inside.
Really affected their balance, huh?
Absolutely.
1st and 20. Switzer, 12 catches for 135 yards. Trubisky keeps it and is tackled at the 31. Josh Sweat making the stop on the play, picks up about 2.
And if you are Florida State defensively, you're thinking, take away number 3, make somebody else make a play. You don't want Switzer to catch one of those bubble screens or digs inside to get 10 yards or so. You want someone else to have to make the play.
He's the inside receiver at the top of your screen. Trubisky looks his way and finds him at the 42-yard line, sets up a 3rd down, about 8 to go. And the Seminole defense needs a stop here with under 4 minutes to go after a 10-yard gain. Florida State can't afford to lose another conference game in this, the conference home opener. 3rd and 8. Carolina looking for their 2nd consecutive late game rally. Complete. Who else? Switzer continues to eviscerate that defense.
Are we flashing back to last week? Remember the game-winning drive against Pitt last week? They converted a couple of 4th down situations. Switzer big on that drive.
And here he is again on the toss. They're going to lose some yards here. Could have been worse as Logan made it back to the 45. Let's go down to Quint.
Yeah, against Pitt, 4th and 3, Switzer. 4th and 7, Switzer. 4th and 6, Prohl. 4th and 9, Switzer. You see a pattern?
Yeah, and it's a pattern that would serve Florida State to think about doubling Switzer when he's on the field. He's not out there right now.
Prohl is to the bottom of your screen, number 7. Trubisky looks the other way, though, and finds his reliable receiver, his other one, Mac Hollins.
Those guys who wore the robes last week? their weapons, and they're alert, and they're making plays. They've got so many weapons in Hollins and Switzer and Pro.
First and 10. Another quick completion. That's Thomas Jackson still on his feet. Touchdown! Tiptoeing down the sidelines for the score. You talk about buzzkill here in Tallahassee.
Well, this is just a simple screen to the guy who's a former walk-on, now on scholarship, got a block by 13 Hollins and stayed in bounds. That's just poor tackling by Florida State and presence by Jackson to make sure he never gave up on the play.
McFadden and Marshall both missed opportunities to bring him down, Rod, and it results in a touchdown for North Carolina. There was a strange kind of pause on the field, almost like they let up a little bit defensively. And North Carolina taking advantage of the missed tackles for the touchdown.
Yeah, that beginning of that play looked a little bit odd. I mean, in the sense that I'm not sure Florida State knew what was happening and prepared for it.
Almost a routine feel to it, and the extra point blocked. The extra point no good. So with 2:31 to go, the Seminoles actually catch a little bit of a break and a reprieve with that blocked extra point. 2:31 to go. Stick around. Year sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets. Allstate making contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kick. To date, Allstate has contributed millions in scholarship funds. Back here, 2:31 to go. Mark Jones, Rod Gilmore, Quinn Kesnick down on the field. A 6-point lead for North Carolina. Whitfield back deep with that world-class speed, but he won't get an opportunity as we go back to Adnan. (14-7). Right, and then DeAndre Francois has his team down 6 with about 2.5 minutes to go. A whistle and a little motion up front.
Snap infraction, offense, number 54, 5-yard penalty, first down.
I believe that's the second time today that Eberle has had a miscue with that.
Well, and the last time, Cook slapped him on the helmet and said, "Get it together."
Look at the penalties. 90 yards on 10 of them today. First and 15 as a result. Francois, incomplete over the middle, intended for Bobo Wilson. And there's a flag down at the 12-yard line. So let's see what that flag is about. Nas Jones there.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 69, half the distance to the goal. Third down.
Boy, the offensive line of the Seminoles not helping them right now.
A critical juncture of the game and 2 consecutive penalties to back you up at what is the clutch time. Can't have that.
DeAndre Francois played for former Seminole Chris Wenke at IMG Academy here in Florida. I have to draw on some of that experience, the coaching that he got down there to bring his team back. 2nd and 25, Francois threw it behind Wilson, but what a catch by Bobo Wilson at the 32. Sets up a very manageable 3rd and about 3.
Really nice route by Wilson, kind of a stutter step to get inside, a little dig. They've been able to throw the ball inside with the tight end crossing or with the dig route. That's been the best play for them, throwing to receivers outside.
That was a tough catch. More flags. Looked like there was some movement on the right side of that offensive line.
Ball start, offense, number 71, 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Well, Jimbo Fisher, unfortunately, has seen that before. Like twice already on this drive.
So, Jonesy, that's going to give them a 3rd and 9. And again, the tight end dragging, the wide receiver cutting across, a crossing route. Those things have been open for Florida State.
The theme of the week has been, in the coach's words, you stop you.
Don't stop yourself.
Francois wide open. Cook on the move. Has the 1st down. Still rolling. Cook at the 33. Seminoles still alive. And there's a flag. And now they pick it up at the 20.
Foul. Roughing the passer. Defense, number 6. 15-yard penalty. 1st down.
So they'll tack some more yards on that 41-yard gain, Rod.
Well, this is your guy. There's the late hit, way late. Stewart coming in. Dominic Green, that was in late, very, very late hit. And Cook making them pay. Actually got tackled by his own guy, Bobo Wilson, who was blocked into him.
Ball all the way down to the 18-yard line. 1st and 10 with 1:22 to go.
This is where Jimbo needs to remind and settle his young team and his young quarterback. They have plenty of time. A couple of timeouts. The clock is not an issue for them right now.
Auden Tate, number 18, is their tall receiver who has 3 touchdowns into the end zone. That's who he was going for. Tate has 5 receptions on the season, Rod. 3 of them for touchdowns. He's a big target at 6'5". Don't forget, coming up tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern on ESPN, number 3 Louisville, number 5 Clemson, pivotal ACC battle.
You know, that game matters to Florida State if they're able to pull this one out here today. That game could lead to a potential 3-way tie in the division.
2nd and 10. Cook. Got a block out in front of him. Cook is tackled at about the 13 by Andre Smith. 57 seconds to go. Carolina with a couple of timeouts left. Florida State burning one there. They've got 1 remaining, and Jimbo ready to make his move. It's in Louisville, Clemson, number 3, number 5. Death Valley, 8 p.m. Eastern on ABC, also on the ESPN app and on WatchESPN.com. And got the Clemson flag flying above Bill Campbell. For Florida State, they need this one, folks. Under a minute to go. 3rd and 6. Got to get to the 8-yard line for the 1st down. Francois completes it to the 5 for the 1st down. Big catch by Rudolph, who dropped a touchdown catch earlier today. His first reception of the game.
Surprised that there was no pressure by North Carolina. Now this is the Dalvin Cook time. You still have a timeout. Managing the clock wisely.
1st and goal. Blitz coming. Batted down at the line of scrimmage by Naz Jones. Jones, who is the voice of that defense for Carolina.
So, Jonesy, when you're playing defensive back down here now, you know there's not a lot of room. You prefer to have man coverage because you know you can bring some pressure, and whatever has happened is going to happen quickly. So you remind each other, do not back up. You play your guy straight up right away. Do not back up. Do not let him catch the ball on the goal line to have the touchdown. You be aggressive down here.
Looked like he was looking for Bobo Wilson.
That's
that winning streak on the line, in jeopardy right now. 22 consecutive wins. Longest in the nation. Francois pulling the trigger. Incomplete. Flag. Intended for Tate. Being covered by Renee.
Pass interference. Defense, number 5. Ball be placed at the 2-yard line. 1st down.
Patrice Renee, the culprit.
And that ball was thrown so hard and so high, it probably wasn't going to be caught.
I was going to say, is that catchable?
Yeah, but you know what? The way the officials look at catchable, they assume every receiver is Superman. Absolutely. And that if there's any possible way a human can get up and make a catch, it's assumed that will happen.
First and goal. Speaking of Superman, they got Cook dotting the I. He's had a big day already. A couple of touchdowns. Francois tipped and incomplete, trying to find Tate again. That's the third time he's gone to him in the red zone here on this final drive.
Not a lot of room there. A lot of congestion. Ball gets tipped. They're fortunate this did not get picked off. I still say, if you're a Florida State fan, there is time for Cook. There is time to run Dalvin Cook. You've got a timeout you're sitting on. There is time to slip him out of the backfield. There is no reason to give up on Dalvin Cook down here inside the 5-yard line.
Let's see where they line him up. 10 on the play clock, 29 seconds to go. Francois in trouble. Oh, he ducks. Touchdown! He ducked out of trouble like Houdini.
Ruling on the field is a touchdown.
You know, Jonesy, I don't think I saw a signal.
They may be looking at this first.
But there ought to be a signal before they're looking at it.
Needs to be a call, right?
There has to be a call on the field before you look at it.
What a move right here. I mean, that was magical.
Ruling on the field is a touchdown. That play is under further review.
Now they rule it as a touchdown on the field. And it looked to me in that replay like he had possession when he broke the plane and then lost the ball. So you're looking for whether he fumbled it before he broke the plane.
Now let's keep a moment now for this extra point while they review it. If the touchdown stands, Aguayo has already missed 3 kicks today. One more look. The ball came loose on the way in, but that's not a great angle.
No, but from that angle, it looked to me like he's beyond the plane. You see it from this angle. Look for where the ball comes out. He's breaking the plane and losing the ball, but that's recovered anyway. I think that's a touchdown.
Yeah, and it was recovered in the immediate
After further
aftermath,
review,
too.
Just have to break the plane.
Field is confirmed. Touchdown.
Okay, so Ricky Aguayo now with a chance to give them the lead with 23 seconds to go. Aguayo has missed 3 field goals today, folks. It hasn't been a duck walk for him. My guess that his confidence is a little bit low right now. Nothing is considered routine. And he knocks it through. Seminoles come back in the dying seconds to take a 1-point lead. Francois with his 2nd rushing touchdown this season. They trail by as many as 21 points. And he's rallied them back.
Well, and North Carolina had plenty of opportunities today, and they'll still have another 23 seconds. But things that got away from them.
Let's go back to Adnan Virk in the studio. Okay, Adnan, 23 seconds to go. And that missed extra point by the Tar Heels a few minutes ago, really costly right now. Remember against Ole Miss, Francois led his team back from down 22. And they've had a 21-point fourth quarter here this afternoon. North Carolina with 2 timeouts remaining. They'll start from the 25. It's been a story of missed opportunities, Rod.
Well, they had plenty of chances. How about this 4th down play that they chose to attempt and didn't go for the 3 points instead? How about right before half, the Hood fumble that kept points off the board? How about the drop pass for the touchdown they didn't get? And then the missed safety wasn't a safety. And then last but not least, the missed PAT, which opened the door for Florida State to go ahead. And guess who got that blocked PAT?
Yeah, Wally Ame. 1st and 10. We got 23 seconds to work with.
And 2 timeouts.
They're only rushing 3, Rod. And open in the middle of the field. A field goal gets them the win. They got to get into range. Weiler has a long this year of 49 yards. 23-yard gain. Trubisky downfield. Switzer open! And he couldn't dive and catch it.
2 timeouts. And they need to get to the 35. This would have put them there.
Wow.
They've got 2 timeouts. You can work the middle. They've got time for a couple of plays. But they need to use the middle of the field.
They're going to get down to about, as you said, the 35-yard line to get into Nick Weiler's field goal range.
They need about 17 yards.
Third and final timeout, Florida State. This will be a 30-second timeout.
So the Seminoles are going to burn one of their timeouts. Their final timeout with 9 seconds to go.
Well, if you're thinking ahead, where do they go with the football? Keep in mind that Hollins has the speed to get down there in a hurry, and he's also tall enough to give them an opportunity at 6'4".
Bug Howard is 6'5" too.
Yeah,
He
but
got a shot.
I think Hollins can get down the seam, the middle of the field, a little bit faster. And then you've got Switzer, who always seems to manage to get open. And you have to have the presence of mind, you know, to be willing to use those timeouts if you don't pick up enough for a first down.
Trubisky was clutch on 3 4th-down conversions last week in their last second comeback win against Pitt. Can he duplicate it here today?
In the slot right there. That's their best receiver.
Keep an eye on Switzer. Working the middle of the field. Incomplete and a flag thrown. He was going to Hollins, and there was contact on that side of the field.
Interference, defense, number 4, 15-yard penalty, first down.
That's against Tavares McFadden.
You know, Jonesy, this puts them in an interesting position. This doesn't put them where they need to be for a field goal, but with only 4 seconds left, they're probably going to have to try this.
Well, here he comes. There's a look at Weiler.
Yeah, this is going to be about a 54-yarder.
Second charge timeout, North Carolina. This will be a full timeout.
Yeah, you definitely don't have time to run another one. So Weiler's going to have to come in and, about, it's at the 37, you had 17, that's 54, like you said, and that's well beyond his best this year. Let's go down to Quint.
Under the goalposts, ideal conditions this afternoon, Mark. It was really warm early. Now the temperature's in the high 70s, so the ball is soft and bouncy. But this is very much on the outer range of the Carolina kicker. 49-yarder against Illinois was very much wind-aided, and it was a kick that he put up and carried. So he's going to have to hit this absolutely perfectly from 54 yards because there was nothing in warm-ups that showed that he can make this kind of kick.
Yeah, Q. If he had 5 more yards. If you could get 5 more yards in 2 seconds, you would do it, but there's no guarantee. So right now, this is going to have to be the kick of his life.
Remember, folks, coming up next, Kentucky, Alabama, but plenty to be decided here. 4 seconds to go. There's a look at Nick Weiler. He missed earlier today from 51. It's going to be his second attempt.
Well, and the miss from 51, remember, he pushed it to the side. It might have had enough leg to get there.
Sure looked like
he
it did.
pushed it, yeah.
Well, remember last week they came back and won against Pitt in the dying seconds of the game on that Bug Howard touchdown catch and some 3 clutch 4th-down conversions by Trubisky.
How about Larry Fedora looking for a signature win that he hasn't had in his tenure at North Carolina? Florida State trying to keep pace with Clemson and Louisville. So much at stake for both these teams.
Weiler from 54 yards for the win. Up and good! The Tar Heels come in and steal one. And the parade has begun for the Tar Heels around the field.
Talk about the kick of his life.
A season-long 54-yarder. A career-long 54-yarder. Downstairs to Quint.
Coach, I saw you call the kicker over with about 5 minutes to go in the game, and you asked him what his range was. What did he tell you?
30. We knew it was going to be 35. I just said, hey, look, we're either going to be in a 2-minute situation where you're going to need to kick a field goal to win, or we're going to be in a 4-minute situation. So get ready. That's all.
What were you thinking when he attempted that 54-yarder?
He's made them in practice, and he was due today.
Coach, congratulations.
Thank you.
Mark.
Coach Fedora and his place kicker, Nick Weiler, have a special type of honest communication. He'll ask him before every game, how far do you think you can go? And he counts on a realistic assessment from his place kicker. Well, he had room to spare on that one, Rod.
Well, he missed a 51-yarder earlier that he pushed to the right. It had enough legs, so you thought maybe he had enough, but it was going to take the kick of his life to get it done, and he nailed it, and with that gives Fedora a signature win over Florida State, snapping a 22 home game win streak for the Seminoles and possibly knocking Florida State out of the race in the ACC.
Yeah, that's their second loss in conference play. He hadn't attempted a 50-yarder in his entire career. He was 1 for 2 today, and the big one for the win. They win it 37-35. What a game! And then, Burke, that's a tough act to follow, partner. Back to you.